What's up, listener? You are listening to the Questions Hip Hop Trivia Podcast. You already knew that. I'm your host, Sean Kantrowitz. You probably already knew that. And today's episode, if you looked at the title, then yes, you already know that too, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It is a throwback classic episode of The Questions with DJ Rhettmatic of the World Famous Beat Junkies. This is an episode that we originally did June 8th, 2020. This was episode number 35, making this the oldest episode to be archived in podcast form yet. I love and hate revisiting these episodes, the older ones. They're so great. It was such a weird time too. It feels like it was a lifetime ago, and also that it wasn't that long ago. This was in the summer of 2020, so the George Floyd uprising was fresh in people's heads. This was happening as we recorded this. We were still in the early stages of this COVID pandemic, and we were doing it on Instagram Live, which was the perfect thing for us at the time, and also was riddled with so many technical issues and workarounds that we had to do, and I've tried to sort of fix all of that now in revisiting it. The quality is not as great as what we would later do, but, I really love a lot of these early episodes, and I think it's important that we share them because we really got some amazing discussions from people back in 2020. Rhettmatic is a DMC West Coast champion. He's a producer. He's a member of the Visionaries. He was the tour DJ for Dilla for the late great producer's final tour in 2005. And he's also an instructor and teacher at the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. Big shout out to the Beat Junkies. We have done several events with them, and now that things are maybe opening back up a little bit more, they're opening up more now. I definitely think that The Questions and the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound will be collaborating again in the near future. So this is a great episode. Rhettmatic is a wealth of knowledge, and he had so much to share. And I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and I know most of you have not done this, please leave a review on our podcast. Go to the Apple Podcast app or on iTunes and write a little review. Tell people what you like about this show. Share this show with other people if you haven't already done so. Really appreciate all of that support. I see the numbers. Our audience is growing as we sort of rebrand and rebuild into a new platform of podcasting here on the Stony Island Audio Network. I would love to see more reviews, as that really helps with the algorithm and helps more people discover and learn about the show. So please just take a moment. You can do it while you listen. Just hit a few buttons, tap on your phone, and you'll be writing your review, and I will read them on the next episode and shout you out. I really would appreciate it. All right, I'm done harassing you guys. If this felt like harassment, I don't think it was. I think it was just me sort of gently prodding, suggesting strongly that maybe you do that. Big love and shout out to everybody who has already done that, so I don't want to lump you in. But yeah, come on, let's get our reviews up. We can do this. All right, without further ado, we're going to hop right into it. This is the Questions Hip Hop Trivia Throwback Classic episode with DJ Rhettmatic.
Who did it first? Who did it best? Who did it worst? That's the question. Who rapping there? That remix, and what happened when? That's the question.
Let me ask you a question.
And if you ain't knowing these, then my guys knowing what you need. Some answers to the questions.
Well, thanks for having me, Sean.
Of course, man. As I was saying before you came on here, you were a name that we had been throwing around forever, wanting to have on the show. Before the age of the Rona, we were like, we got to get Rhettmatic involved somehow because we're such big fans. So
Oh man, thanks. I'd figure, what do you call it? You'd get either Jay or Babs or Mello or something like that. But I know all the guys are saying I'm the nerd next to Jay, I'm like the kind of like the nerd when it comes to all this type of stuff. But we'll see. I guess you guys will put me to the test and stuff.
We're gonna test. Yeah, we're gonna test that nerdiness, and we'll certainly, we're down to have the rest of the Beat Junkies on the show at a later point too. But before we get started, tell me how your week has been. How have you been processing everything? What are you doing to sort of stay focused and stay positive in this?
Well, I mean, shoot. I've been, luckily been really keeping busy with the Beat Junkies. We're teaching online on our beatjunkies.tv online school and stuff. Since the school is shut down for the moment, so we are able to transfer. Able to adapt to what's going on and stuff. But I mean, with the whole situation, I mean, with the pandemic and stuff, and then now with with the protest and the crazy riot, not riots, but just the uprising and stuff like that. It's definitely just crazy. Just because I kind of remember this like the '92 riots and stuff like that. So but this is obviously more tense. You can feel the change and stuff. My mother and I, we're watching. My mother, obviously, I'm Filipino. My parents came from the Philippines to the United States in '68, so they missed the '65 riots and stuff, But just watching it with my mom and stuff, just kind of like making sure she understands what's going on, because my parents, have it, besides the generation gap, it's also a cultural gap and stuff.
Sure.
Me being born in born in the United States, so I'm like, I'm like kind of like best of both worlds. Like even during being Filipino, but like I'm pretty much like westernized, Americanized, as they say, and stuff like that. So like I kind of get best of both worlds, and then just kind of like just really trying to process it. But I can feel that like there's definitely a change going on right now, and we're just really trying to stay positive just in general and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's really dope that we're all able to communicate and share information in a way that wasn't possible in 1992.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, so that's that is a benefit to what is happening now. Like the information is being shared, and again, like we're all sort of adapting as we can, adapting in how we support, whether we're out at protests or we're donating or shedding light and doing what you guys are doing. Like I know what the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound is not like, that was just a pivot, to take the school that you guys have, the DJ, school, and bring it online. But we're all finding different ways to connect with one another, in this new time.
I mean, yeah, with the technology and stuff. I mean, look what we're doing right now and stuff. But, like it's crazy because it's like I'm sure you heard this. We mentioned this before, like 3-4 years ago. You asked us if we're gonna open a DJ school. We're like, you crazy?
Right.
Because coming from that generation, like from for hip hop, it's like
you guys were covering records. You guys,
like I mean, it's like like you have to be original. You know what I'm saying? The term biting. You can't copy someone's. And we were young and stuff. I mean, it's still. I mean, the culture's still young compared to other genres. Other music genres or other just culture wise and stuff, right? But we realize that in order for our culture to survive, we have to share. I mean, you see that with the other music genres like rock and roll, funk, soul, jazz, and stuff. And hip hop, I don't know, because it's the b-boy mentality. Is like you can't, you're not allowed to, share your techniques or your secrets only with your crew and stuff like that. But I think a lot of us now, like at least for the Junkies, we're like at least in our from early 40s to like I'm one of the oldest guys in the crew. I'm like I just turned 51 this year and stuff like that. So knock on wood that I'm still doing this and stuff. Even as a Filipino American that's been that's lucky to see to be actually experienced hip hop coming into the West Coast and the LA scene, like in like the early '80s and stuff like that. So, like just to be, it's a blessing and stuff like that. But yeah, man. So I mean, just to share the culture, it's our, whether we like it or not. Our generation has to pass on our culture and stuff if we want this to survive, right? You know, right. I mean, it's like this, like actually doing this is almost the same thing. Sharing, you know, us being hip hop nerds and learning everything about, you know, records, artists, labels, and stuff like that. You know, this is almost another, you know, the same thing and stuff. So
we definitely believe so. It's you can't be mad at a newer generation for not knowing the information if you're not sharing the information. You know? Like,
yeah.
That's kind of what it comes down to. So, I mean, we're thrilled to have you. If you guys have questions for Rhett, drop them in that little question box at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to that at the end once we're done with the game. So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cool stories and anecdotes and things. So we're going to get right into it, Rhettmatic. So,
all right, hold on. Let me just do this as a.
Yeah, do your thing. So the first round, all the choice is yours, and this is general multiple choice.
Okay.
If you don't know the answer, you can always lean on the chat as well. So let's get into the first question.
Okay.
This rapper hosts his own podcast called The People's Party. Is it Noriega, Blueprint, Talib Kweli, or Lord Jamar?
C.
He says C, Talib Kweli. And he is absolutely correct. That is Talib Kweli's People's Party. Kweli is somebody that you've worked with in your career.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, podcasts have become really popular, too. You also have your own show on Dash Radio with Beat Junkies.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, so the Beat Junkies, we have our own radio, not show, but radio station.
Yeah.
But we actually have our own podcast. It's called Building Better DJs on beatjunkies.tv. So I mean, it's crazy. The last 3 to 5 years, the Junkies have, you know, become an official business per se, I guess. I mean,
not before. Did you feel like it wasn't like in the earlier days? That, like,
I'm sorry.
You weren't a business before, like in the early days?
I mean when our 10-year when we hit our 10-year mark per se, we started our own label, Beat Junkie Sound. So you know, we had our own little independent record label. I mean, we put out, you know, our first project was Classic Material, was a compilation of all our productions and mixes or whatever, and then eventually we started out putting out 12 inches DVDs and stuff like that, and then eventually cats, you know, we were always a crew, but you know, like, for instance, Babs got really busy with Dilated, you know. Jay became hardcore, you know, like with Stone's Throw, with Dilla and Madlib. Mello was in the radio along with Chalk, and eventually, like, Mello got more into the Vegas scene. Chalk was still like, you know, I think he was still doing radio, and then eventually got into, like, you know, got in the club scene too as well. Short and D Styles, of course, they're also members of Invisible Scratch Pickles, you know. So a lot of people didn't know that Shortcut and D Styles were actually members of the Beat Junkies before they became the Scratch Pickles. So, and then of course you got, you know, we also have other members like Icy Ice, Symphony, who's our the only female member of the group, but she, you know, but she stopped early and stuff like that. But if she kept on going, she would have served a lot of people, man. She was like, you know, not saying she's, you know, like, not to say that she was the first female battle DJ, because I mean, in retrospect, really, the one I would tell her about Jazzy Joyce. Everybody knows about Jazzy Joyce from the Masters of Mix, but she was, you know, if you know your history, you know, she was with Sweet Tea, right? Back in the day, she battled in the New Mix Seminar Battle for World Supremacy, 1987, and she actually battled Cash Money. Yeah, there was a video. Back then, there was a video going around of Ice-T. Ice-T was videotaping it. So this is like, you know, this is like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And I remember, like, you know, that was like a, you know, that's like a Bible at the time. This is even before even the DMC tapes, kind of. You know, I mean, DMC New Week Seminar was coming at the same, you know, DMC was a little more, they had a more legitimate out stuff, but New Week Seminar was like, DMC was all over the world. Munich Seminar is like it was an industry. It was an industry event. It was thrown by Tom Silverman of Tommy Boy Records. And to enter that battle, you have to be sponsored by a label.
Right.
So obviously, like but if you were sponsored by a label, that means obviously like Joe Cooley, Egyptian Empire Records, or K-Day Records, right? Cash Money was on Sleeping Bag Records. Jazzy Joyce was on Profile Records. So to me at the time, Munich Seminar battles was that's all our heroes were in that battle, like each year and stuff like that. But Jazzy Joyce was one of the if I remember correctly, she's probably the only female that was in the Munich Seminar battle, and she had to go against Cash Money. And she almost took out Cash Money. It's 1987. So she almost took out Cash Money until Cash Money said, "Oh, fuck that. I'm not going to get taken up by Jazzy Joyce and shit." So I would tell Symphony about that. So Symphony is also Icy Ice's younger sister and stuff. So I would tell her like, "Yo, you should check this out." And that's how she got inspired. And then eventually we all kind of like let's kind of build her up and let's teach her and some stuff. And then she entered some couple of battles. One of her biggest battles was the 1999 I think was it the Vestex battle, and she took out Disc from the Scratch Pickles. So it's out there and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a big thing. She was on she actually was battling before. She was like before Cutting Candy, Cutting Candy from Fifth Platoon and DJ Shorty.
Yep.
Symphony was and we were kind of trying to build her like as just a dope DJ that happens to be female.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Man, gems. We're in the first question. We've already gotten so many.
Sorry.
No, this is what we love. We love this. It's great. Right. So, this is why we wanted you on the show. So we're going to move on to the next question. Here we go. This question is, Blue and Exile's debut album, Below the Heavens, features 2 appearances by this R&B singer. Is it Aloe Black, Frank Ocean, Maxwell, or Miguel?
Well, I mean, you get 2 appearances by this one. Well, it depends, because you could say Aloe, but I'll go with, just to be safe, I'll go with D, Miguel.
He's going D, Miguel, and yes, that is technically the correct answer, but I know Aloe was on there as well.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing with Miguel, I've seen Miguel when Eminem used to perform and stuff, and they started bringing Blue. What do you call it? They would bring Miguel. He was known as Miguel Jontel.
Yeah, he was young. Yeah. He was really young back then, right?
Totally.
I mean, being somebody who's been in the scene here for so long, I just imagine you've seen so much like the development and people sort of on the come up. Like, has LA always felt? I'm not from LA originally. I've only been here for 6 years.
Okay. Okay.
I'm from the East Coast originally, but has LA always felt like a cohesive scene to you, or has it sort of like are there different sort of segments of it? Or
it depends. As it coming up, it was all different pockets. So it's definitely in the 80s. It was definitely scattered. LA, if people that know that live in LA, LA spread out. There's LA City, and then there's LA County, and then I grew up in Cerritos. I live in Cerritos, which is a suburb out, in LA County. It's it's like 30 minutes away from LA. We're next to Long Beach, Compton, Carson, and stuff like that. So growing up, there's all different pockets, totally different pockets and stuff. Like as a late 80s, early 90s, you start everything going, it's like if you really want to go check out hip hop, you got to go to LA or Hollywood, where everything's going over there and stuff like that. I would say more like towards like it's still, LA is always scattered, but like I would say the scene itself, especially with like, I would say like in like the mid 90s to late 90s is when like, especially when independent hip hop, underground hip hop started, you still seeing pockets and cats would travel. I mean, the thing about in LA is that you got to travel. You got to go different places to go to to check out different scenes and stuff like that, even though it's all around. But I would say in many ways that the music scene in general, not only hip hop, but just the music scene now, I would say it's more solidified now in the last maybe 10, possibly 15, 20 years now, just because once, you know how the thing is, obviously the shift from the east to the west and then eventually the south. Right. But and at there times there was I would say kind of factions, especially now the West and Old West. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So but once cats see what the South was doing and what we're doing, like cats were just helping each other. We all realized that that it doesn't matter. OGs, younger generation, underground, mainstream start working together.
Sure. Yeah.
You can tell. And to now it's like it's blurred.
Yeah. Very
right. And they're very intertwined one way or another, and that's what we think we learn. And not that I always say that LA, we're very spoiled because we have like in the last 10 plus years, people have been moving to LA because cats are here. Like it's all about the music.
Right.
So yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question in this round. Here's another one close to home. Slum Village released the Best Kept Secret EP under this pseudonym. Was it Champion Sound, The Uma, Detroit's Finest, or J88?
D.
He says J88. And he is correct. Best Kept Secret. You had the distinction of, touring with J Dilla. Like, were you a reverent fan of him at that time? Like, like a lot of heads knew, but obviously we experience this in all parts of culture, not just hip hop. Usually when somebody passes, then the admiration goes up even through the roof. But at that time, what were your feelings, or what was your sort of your evaluation of J Dilla as a producer?
I mean, same thing. Just as the progression, knowing from him as JD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Jay definitely got the Slum Village tape, the fantastic one before all of us and stuff. Yeah. But for me, it's I've always liked his production and stuff. But when I was able to go to Japan, so I want to say this is 96 or 7 or something like that. So it was the Visionaries, Babu, and myself went to Japan, and Manhattan Records. Manhattan Records is like one of the best record stores in Japan at this time and stuff, because they were the ones that actually they were actually putting out limited edition or Japan only releases in Japan.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like Primo would do production record, special records for Japan that you only can get in Japan. They pay top dollar. He do productions for even Japanese rappers and stuff. So one of the record buyers over at actually two record buyers, Take, who is from a company called BBQ. He used to be one of the main record buyers for Manhattan Records. Take works with Stone's Throw and stuff like that. Still to this day, he does buy his records for HMV in Japan. Also, and this guy Toshi, big Japanese, but we'll respect the record digger and stuff. Yeah. So I remember we were shopping. They go, and of course, oh, do you know about JD? It's like, oh yeah. It's like, you must check out record Slum Village, and it was I Don't Know. As soon as he heard I Don't Know, and with all that, we were like, oh shit! And you couldn't get this record anywhere. It was only in Japan. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I gotta. We bought a lot, brought it back home and shit.
Was Jazzy Jeff on that version of the song as well? No.
So this was this side A was I Don't Know, and it's an orange label.
Yeah.
So it's like it's I Don't Know and Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an orange label, right? That's the orange label, but then the cover itself, it's a white label. It's a white cover, but you have a sticker, it's a Slum Village with the picture of them and stuff like that.
Yeah. So and you just knew from that point it was like
from that point on, and we were the only ones who got it and brought it back, and we started playing it on like Jay and Chalk were on Pyro 106, Mello, Babs, and myself were on 92.3 The Beat. So we were playing that shit. Half of us, like Babs, Jay, and myself, were working at Fat Beats. So we're playing. Obviously we were playing everywhere. Played at Unity, played at any joints, put in our mixtapes, and we only gave you the records to some of the homies, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it became that best kept secret.
Right, and then I was able to put it on World Famous Beat Junkie Volume 2, and then Babs and Jay put it on their World Famous Joints for the mixtape they did for Fat Beats, and that's how it. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, we're gonna move on to our next question here. Third question. Fourth question in this round, final. Divine Styler's dance crew was known as what? Was it the Scheme Team, At Band Clan, Jabberwockies, or Abstract Tribe Unique?
A,
he says confidently, and he knows it is the Scheme Team. You also worked with Divine Styler.
yes.
Yes.
Divine is one of my favorite artists coming up. Scheme Team were like Divine, Divine was the man back then, especially coming up. Yeah, so my man Kalani, who's one of the dancers from Scheme Team stuff, he's from Carson, grew up with Razzcast and shit. So that's how I kind of I know, Scheme Team was like one of the best dance crews in LA. Next to them was Soul Brothers, who danced for Def Jam. Divine's from New York and shit. Divine used to have, it was the mysterious guy, and the history was told that he taught Scheme Team how to dance to all the crazy style. So, fast forward, yeah, man. So, Ain't Saying Nothing is like the classic jam, especially in LA. You put that shit on, every dancers get out there, and every freestyle dancer shit. So there was a style, but even before the mop top style came in from New York there was a style in LA. It was either you dance like the Soul Brothers or you dance like Scheme Team and shit. So. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I had the chance, and then fast forward, I got to work with Divine Styler. He was on my project for World Famous Beat Junkies Volume 2. I was the only person to produce outside producers besides Bilal Bashir on on his Word Power 2. The song's called Triple Irons. So, big ups to Divine.
So many gems. We got Rhettmatic in the house. We're moving on to our second round. Let us know if the picture and everything is good, guys. I know we were having some connective issues earlier, but I feel like we were back on track. So the second round is called Picasso, baby. So
Skills, man, Skills in the house.
Skills, what up? Skills. All right, so in this round, what it is that we're going to do is we're going to show you an album cover, a piece of it, and you're going to have to identify what the album is by the little piece that you. So here's the first one. We're hopping into it. It's a person, and you see their torso and their arm and their hand, and there's sort of a dark blue, sort of aqua hue over the whole photo. Is it Common's Resurrection, Dilated Peoples, Directors of Photography, J-Live, All the Above, or Guru's Jazzmatazz, Volume 1?
C.
He's going C, J-Live, and he is absolutely correct. We're going to move on to our second question. It's a super close-up photo of an old-school microphone with fingers grasping it, placed in front of a face that seems to have a beard. Is it Jizza, Pro Tools, You Got, Dopium, Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele, or Master Killa's Master Killa Live?
C.
He says C, Supreme Clientele. Man, we already knew that DJs are going to know this stuff. You guys are always looking at the records.
Yeah.
That is Supreme Clientele. What's your favorite Wu-Tang album? Or Wu-Tang affiliated album?
Wu-Tang affiliated album?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's between, obviously, what do you call it? Raekwon's, man, I can't even think of it right now. First album, why am I'm drawing a blank, fucking...
Thanks.
Huh? Cuban Links. There you go. Cuban Links and Jizza, Liquid Swords, or is it Liquid Swords, man?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. One of those two.
Yeah, it depends on which day of the week it is. All right, let's move on to the final question in this round. We're looking at a blue sky and a desert with pyramids in the background. What album cover is this? Is it Deltron 3030, J. Rue the Damager, The Sun Rises in the East, Homeboy Sandman, First of the Living Breed, or Hieroglyphics, Third Eye Vision?
D.
He says D, and he is absolutely correct. That is Hyro's Third Eye Vision. How up were you guys on Hyro? Like, was there a lot of connection between you guys? I mean, them being.
Well, I mean, obviously, Hyro came out definitely big. I mean, well, you got to also think during the Good Life, during those times too, kind of also the way they were rhyming was also kind of reminded a little bit of the Good Life with like Freestyle Fellowship and stuff like that. So I mean, there was even those words in between, like whose rocks it better, Freestyle Fellowship or Souls of Mistress or Hyro and stuff. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting and stuff like that. So. I mean, of course, you go to the Bay Area, you got it, of course, with the Hyros in Hobo Junction. That's that. So
rivalry there for sure.
Right, totally, yeah.
That's really interesting too. I remember, I don't remember when the interview was from, but Outkast said definitely, especially on their first album, they were super influenced by Souls of Mischief in terms of flowing and.
Definitely can hear it. Definitely can hear it.
Yeah.
From the West Coast point, like us West Coast cats, we can hear it. Like, oh man, they sound like Hyro. And I mean, even they were dressing kind of like little Hyro-ish and stuff like that.
Yeah. There was some definitely like Hyro vibes in there. All right, so
totally.
Rhett, I'm glad that you did the prayer thing before because you're flawless right now. You've gotten 100% of them right.
So
far. We've seen people stumble. They do get a little bit harder, but we're going to move into our third round, which is called Digging in the Crates. This is our sample round. And I'm going to ask you a question and play you a sample, and you have to tell me what the answer is after you hear it. So I'll read you the question first. Which of the following artists have not sampled the Whispers' You Are Number One? I'm going to play that sample now. Black Elixir, Monica, 50 Cent, or the Visionaries? Who has not
C.
He says C. All right. The answer was Black Alicious.
Okay, so I got this wrong.
All right. It's fine. Listen, Rhett, nobody is doubting your credibility right now. Everybody knows
someone say, I don't know if I listen to a lot of 50 songs joints, but I don't remember all. I don't know all. So, and I would figure if anybody would be Black Alicious and shit, right. Because I can see. Obviously, I know Monica, of course, Visionaries, and then of course, I would figure if anything, but I don't know all of 50s. Even though I love early 50 Cent shit.
Right, but not deep in those cattle. Yeah. 50 Cent is hip hop, Lobster. Come on, like we're not judging anybody. Like,
go ahead, judge me.
But that was a big song for you guys, for Visionaries.
Yeah, J-Rock produced that. That's one of our biggest hits. So
yeah,
I still remember when Jay made it. He did it on an ASR 10.
Wow. Hardware. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I remember it was like the craziest thing is that. We're trying to finish up the album, our first album, Galleries. And when I heard it, I said, we need to, depending on who you talk to, for me, because I remember I was there with Jay when he played me the beat, and I said, yo, we need this beat and shit. And then, like some of the guys might say something different, but I just remember being there with Jay with his ASR 10 and stuff like that. And this is when he used to live in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was a big LA record. Yep, Steve Wonder with the Fat Beats Vermont days. Yep.
Shout out to Steve Wonder. I say CeeLo. That's CeeLo. That's my man right there. That's he's our general manager for the school, but he's also the general manager for Fat Beats LA days from Vermont to Melrose. Like the beginning when Fat Beats pretty much opened to maybe the first 2 years of Melrose. So CeeLo's the man. Probably as good as me, or even better, and more knowledgeable than me, probably.
All right, we're moving on to the next question in this round. You stumbled, but you're still in the game, Rhett, so don't sweat it. All right, our second Roadwork by Howard Roberts was sampled on A Tribe Called Quest song that only featured this member. So it's a little tricky here. I'm not just asking you what the song is, but you got to know who rapped on it. So here's that sample.
Okay.
So who was the only rapper who rapped on it? Was it Phife Dawg, Q-Tip, Jerobi, or Consequence?
B.
He says B. And he is correct. That is Q-Tip, another amazing JD production.
That was pretty good.
You are pretty good, yeah. What's your, I mean, this is like a really hard question. This is the hardest question I'm going to ask you today. What is your favorite JD beat or production? I told you it was going to be hard, bro.
I don't know, man.
All right, let me look at you like this. If somebody had never heard a JD or a J Dilla beat, and they were like, I'm new, you know, you deal with a lot of students, you know, through the school. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who have hip-hop blind spots. Where do you start them with? Like, where's their starting point?
I guess for me, just out of for memorials, you know, for my personal memorial thing, I don't know, Slum Village, just because I just remember. I mean, obviously, I mean, shoot, Run-In was there. I mean, of course, Skills. He got some of the first production on his for his album and stuff.
Yeah.
But just for memory's sake, I don't know. You know, I don't know if that would be the best, you know, introduction. But that was my introduction for Slum Village. Period. So I would say I don't know.
It's not a bad place to start. It's not like a, you know, it's not a false start or anything like that.
Right,
so,
right.
I think you could really play anything off of the fantastic albums. And that's totally. All right, final question in this round. Here we go. This Beatnut song samples music from the TV show Electric Company. Is it Reign of the Tech, Watch Out Now, Off the Books, or No Escaping This?
B. No. Hold on. No.
Oh.
I'm thinking one thing. Hold on.
Yeah.
C.
Ooh, he says C. That was a close one.
Yeah.
It's Off the Books.
I had to because you know.
You heard it in your head.
Right. The funniest thing, Off the Books and Watch Out Now, in some ways, they kind of rode that vibe and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a catchy.
There were sister singles, you know, like
yeah. And they kind of I'm thinking one thing. I see the video and I'm like, hold on.
That's a tricky one. Yeah. Dude, what were we thinking? We got fucking. We've got Rhettmatic in the house. Come on. All right. So our final round now. So our final round, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you an option of 3 different categories. Mm-hmm. You get to pick one, and you will have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in this category. So I'm going to give you your choice here. Your choices are, the first category is Madlib Invasion. The second category is modern hip-hop protest songs, very fitting for the time. And the third is summer songs. So you will have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in one of these. Which one do you want to...
So the first one was what, Madlib, you say?
Madlib Invasion. So these are all Madlib-related questions.
Okay. Second one is the
modern hip-hop protest songs.
Okay.
And the third is summer songs, songs about summer and summer songs.
I'll go for summer.
He's going summer. Hey, we're in summer now, right? I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month it is anymore, but it's fine. So here's the rules. You have 5 questions to answer. I have OC's time's up here, and it is time to 90 seconds. So when the time is up on OC, your time will be up. If you don't know the answer, you can say pass, and we can come back to it. Okay. You can only guess once, though. So if you get it wrong, that's counts. It. And of course,
let me do another one right here. There you go.
Stacking those. They've served you well. And also, the chat can help as well. But there is a bit of a delay in the chat. So remember that. 90 seconds is on the clock. He's going with summer song. Rhettmatic. Remember, if you don't know, you can pass. We'll come back to him. They get harder. So here we go. First question. This song won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Single in 1991.
What's that?
This song won the Grammy for Best Rap Single in 1991. Summer Songs.
Are you playing it?
No, you have to tell me it. You have to tell me it.
Oh, pass.
We'll pass. All right. This artist gave the head of his record label a solo song called Dear Summer that opened his 2006 album.
Oh, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, but who gave him the song? Whose album was it on?
Oh.
It's a Jay-Z song on a record.
It's a Jay-Z song on an album. Man. Yeah, I got stumped on this one. I'm going to have to pass on this one.
All right. We're going to pass on this one. Members of the Far Side hopped on a posthumous remix of a song by this band, and the song was about summer.
Pass. I'm going to have to go. I have to really, really look up. Like, man.
Ice Cube tells a story of visiting this city in his classic storytelling song, My Summer Vacation.
Oh, summer vacation. I want to say Ohio.
The answer we were looking for is St. Louis. All right, Rhett, our time is up. I'm sorry. You had a strong run, but that final round gets tough. I'm going to give you the answers now. The song that won the Grammy for Best Rap Single in 1991 was Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff. And
I was thinking of that, but I, for whatever reason, I was thinking of when they first won the Grammy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, because they won. They were the first one to win the Grammys and shit. So I was like, wait, that wasn't Summertime and stuff like that. But so, yeah, well, it should have said Summertime.
No, it's fine. Jay-Z had the song Dear Summer on Memphis Bleek's album. There's on Memphis Bleek's album, it opens up with a Jay-Z solo song.
I don't even listen. I don't even have that album, so I know. I know the song, but I don't know that album.
You didn't know where it was from. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Ice Cube told the story of visiting St. Louis in my summer vacation.
You know what? It is, because I was trying to think. I know it was in the Midwest, but I was just trying to thinking fuck, was it?
And members of the Far Side hopped on this remix of a song by the band Sublime. They had their song Summertime and The Living's Easy, and the Far Side are on a remix of that. So
man, I don't even listen.
All right, man, listen, it's all good. So I'm going to tally up your score. If you guys have questions for Rhettmatic, drop them in the little question box, because that's what we're going to do now in the time we have. But Rhett, what I want from you while I tally this up, who should we have on the questions next? Who do you challenge? Who do you think we should bring on the show?
Oh, I mean, really, if you're gonna ask for a junkie, I would say either between J-Rock or Shortcut, because they're as well as they're very knowledgeable and stuff like that. If you have to ask if you want a junkie, if outside of that, obviously you already got skills, because me and Skills talk a lot about some nerdish stuff.
Skills was on our first episode of this, actually.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. And he's an honorary. I mean, he is a hip hop nerd. I don't even have to say an honorary nerd. And I use that in the best.
Oh no, Oh, come on. He's as respected artist as he is. He's a nerd. Obviously I know Fonte. You got Fonte. I know he's a nerd.
That's a great segue. We have Fonte coming up on Wednesday So make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday and
Ooh,
Friday.
someone said, my man Ghost said, ooh, either Cut Chemist, Mike Nardone.
Ooh, Cut Chemist and Mike Nardone. That would be crazy. Yes, we should definitely reach out to them. All right, so Rhett, you did very well in the game. That final round did toss you around a little bit, but you have a very respectable 9 out of 15. That puts you definitely, I believe, in the upper middle. We're going to be publishing our leaderboard soon, and we definitely hope you'll come back on the show. We love it start doing head-to-heads.
Yeah, the summer I was thinking, okay, I might know some shit, but man, you really throw. I didn't, because I already know if I went with Madlib, I know early Madlib, but when you get to more of the newer, that's gonna like ooh.
Yeah, we definitely we cover all the bases here. So let's hop into some questions that we have from the audience while we have some time left here.
Okay.
All right. So T Smooth On asks, why wasn't Imagery Battle Hymns and Political Poetry ever released? 1995.
They were signed on Immortal Records. There was a demo and stuff like that. I remember. I've known Rock and Ev way before they became Dilated Peoples. I met Rocka. Honestly, me and Rocka were part of the Rocksteady crew, LA chapter, and that was like in '91 and stuff. So I remember when they just got signed to Immortal. They were signing. They were they just got. They were finishing up their album and stuff like that, but they never, for whatever reason, never dropped. I know there's stories out there. Rocka talks about it and stuff. So Rocka at the time was working at the hip hop shop in off of Melrose and stuff, across the street from Fairfax High. So and that's how I met Ev too. They were known as the Fatliners and stuff. Mm-hmm. This is before Babs even came in the mix. But obviously, and then eventually they became Dilated Peoples and stuff. So
yeah, amazing. All right, let's see what else we got here. Steve Wonder asks, what is your favorite technique to teach students at the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound? That's a good question. What's your favorite technique to teach?
I don't know. Honesty. I'm still as an instructor. I'm still learning. I actually have more fun really just to see them. Whatever I can impart in them with my knowledge. So I don't know. Technique wise, it's kind of hard to say. I don't think me teaching a technique is. I have a favorite technique to teach, but I like to show them something that if they're having problems with a certain technique, I can help them do it better. So I don't think I have a favorite technique to teach, but I like to break down techniques with them. Especially if it's after class on a one-on-one type thing and stuff. So that's just me.
For you, because again, you come from a scene where you said earlier, you guys weren't trying to share information back in the day. You guys were very closed off on that. What has been the most surprising thing that you've learned or experienced in being a teacher and an instructor? What is something that you totally couldn't have anticipated being the case? What surprised you about this chapter that you're in?
That it actually made me become more really humble myself more. That I became a student again.
Wow.
For real. Honestly, I'm not the most eloquent on the when public speaking and stuff compared to say Chalk is an excellent speaker, Mello's a excellent speaker, Babs is definitely excellent. D is great, especially when he's something that's more specific. Me, the guys always make fun of me because my brain is more faster than my mouth. So when I talk, it comes out like that. So I'm learning I'm learning a lot and stuff. So it's but it's very rewarding because I've been very lucky to see a lot of our students where they start and where they've gone to. And for me, it's I know I feel like sometimes I'm an underdog myself. So I've always encouraged them to don't give up because I know how that feeling is and stuff like that. It's just kind of try to apply it in life in terms of like, you know, just do your best and stuff. It's not, at the end of the day, you know, you doing it for yourself, not for, you know, of course it's great if you can get props and stuff like that. I mean, like for us coming up, of course, you want to be the best. As we got older, you realize, man, if I know what I know now back then, it'd be more different and stuff. So, yeah, man, it honestly, I became more of a student again. So.
That's amazing. Yes, man, shout out to everybody from the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. I mean, we've done a few events with you guys, and
yeah, man, the all our students loved when you guys came to our Christmas party and stuff. That was really fun, and seeing them all like, oh, like that, you know. I was helping out some of the students behind the scenes, like, oh, no, you know.
We started with Marquis, DJ Marquis, who's a student of the school.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Mark.
Shout out to him. Yep, shout out to Mark. Rhett DJ'd Spider's wedding. Did you DJ Spider's wedding? I feel like that might be true. Right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, man. Steve was there. Like, I obviously, some people know if I have a mixtape called the Wedding Mixer. You know, so it was kind of popular at the time. So, and it was funny because I came from a mobile DJ scene back in the day. So, you know, we did weddings and stuff, but I left that thing because, especially doing a lot of Filipino weddings and stuff, it's kind of, a lot of Filipino DJs know, especially doing Filipino DJs, you know, you have all the parents, elder people going like, excuse me, do you have any sweet music? What kind of music? I don't know, just play it and then I'll dance. That's not it, you know. So I used to get sick of that. Because I do weddings just to really make the money and buy the records I want to play and stuff, right? And so I did that, you know, doing the Wedding Mixer CDs. I just did it as a joke, and then also as friends and stuff. Yeah. So when when Spider asked me to do his wedding, I was like, you know what, I'll do it for you and stuff. And it was beautiful, and it was actually one of the funnest weddings I did. I don't know, like I know I DJ, and I think someone Steve. Did you DJ too? I don't remember. I know you were there, but I don't remember.
AM was there. I know Steve was there. I don't know.
AM was part. Yeah, because I remember AM came up to me. He's like, "Oh shit, you're DJing and stuff like that." So it was cool because I seen it was dope because Spider's dad did a rap.
Man,
he was rapping a Snoop Dogg. Right?
Gotta hit Spider up about that.
Yeah.
If Spider hit you up and he was like, I want you to DJ my wedding, I really want it to be like traditional, like Filipino wedding music.
Well, no, I mean, like he wanted me to do, like, if you listen to my wedding mixes, I played, I did all, like, you know, all stuff that I grew up listening to, like, you know, 80s funk, electro, you know, so that was, and he said, do that. I said, cool, I had no problem.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have here. Oh, here's an interesting one. From Quimby9, what are the best Filipino restaurants in LA?
Well, depending. So if you're in Chinatown, there's Lhasa. It's it's a fusion.
Yeah.
Great, run by two brothers. Great restaurant. Park's Finest is good. It's if you want some barbecue, but Filipino style, they have this thing called cornbread bibingka. So they make a fusion of cornbread. And bibingka is like a Filipino bread, like sweet bread. So they fuse it. So they make it in like cornbread, but bibingka and stuff. So they have a coconut beef on there. It's great. So for these desserts in Cerritos, there's a place called Cape's Republic. So the end thing right now is like, I don't know if you're familiar with ube.
Yeah.
So ube is, you know, it's a purple yam. It's a Filipino yam and stuff. So it's a newest thing for desserts and stuff. So for my students, every time we have a final, every time I always bring a box of ube brownies. So Cape Republic and Cerritos and stuff like that. So
that's the thing I have to give props to the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. We came the first time that we did an event with you guys because we really wanted to do it, and then we discovered the potluck element that you guys.
Oh yes, yeah.
And we had a meeting immediately after in the parking lot, and we were like, anytime these guys ask us to do anything, we absolutely have to say yes, because if we get even a fraction of the food that we had tonight, we're going to be in great shape. And you guys do not disappoint.
Oh, man, yes.
I'm looking forward to the Beat Junkies Culinary School next, because you guys are right there. DJ Nels asks, when are you dropping the next instrumental album?
Nels, shout out to Nels, Be Real TV. That's it. I don't know. I was trying to work on something, then obviously things kind of out of whack with the COVID-19 and stuff, and then just concentrating on teaching online.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. But right now I'm, as we speak, finishing up the new Visionaries album.
Woo!
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Where are you at in the process?
We pretty much it's in the mixing phases and stuff.
Okay.
I finally finished. So this is our 5th album. It's almost 10 years since we made one. It's long overdue. The difference between the other albums and this album is that I'm actually doing the all production on it. So,
wow.
Yeah, and then I finally finished the last song, which is a DJ song. It took me the longest time. So I gotta, so it's finished now. It's in the mixing phases. So I'm hoping that, we did release a video just like a couple of months ago. We're working on a new video, and I'm hoping that, we're really trying to finish this album to have it out this year. Vinyl wise, I don't think it'll come out this year. It probably might have to come out next year, but the album's coming out this year. Cross your fingers and stuff. So
we have time for like one more, because I know that we get caught up at the hour here. I'm trying to find a good one. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one. Has learning jiu-jitsu changed how you approach DJing?
So if everybody's been following me, yeah, I've been training jiu-jitsu. I was fat Rhett, now mid Rhett. So I lost a lot of weight and stuff. It definitely helped me. Like what I've learned in jiu-jitsu, I actually apply it to teaching at the school. So it's interesting how like I'm a student as a jiu-jitsu, and then I kind of try to apply it with, if I was like, when I talk to our students and try to tell them like, okay, well, some of the students would hear me saying like, you're a white belt trying to be a black belt,
Yeah.
Don't worry about, sure, black, just enjoy the journey, learn all the mistakes, learn all the mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn the process, because that's the only way you're gonna learn and stuff. That's the same thing they would tell me. It's like, don't try to do this. You have to understand the basic foundations, and it goes back to the same thing. It's like, well, you have to learn how to do the baby scratch, and you got to learn your timing. It's like, well, how do I do this? You got to put in work. It's the same thing when I go train. I have to put in work and muscle memory. We do drills. It's funny how when we teach, we do warm-ups and we do cool downs and stuff. It's the same thing what I would do when I train jiu-jitsu. Like we do first stretches, and after that we're doing drills, so help us and they're like, why are we doing this? And then eventually when you start doing techniques and you start putting two things together, you'll find out that this is why we're doing this, because it connects to this, and it does that. So the like CeeLo says, fundamentals are key. So it's like anything you do, and you can apply this to everyday life. It's like you got to build a strong foundation. Once you do that, it's you're able to understand building concepts and techniques, and you can combine everything, and you can go back to ever. And then really, if you have a solid foundation in anything you do, that's when you're able to you can start doing different things, combinations and whatever whatnot and stuff though. But yeah, man, I'm a blue belt. I think I'll still be a blue belt for a long time. I don't think I ever catch being a black belt and stuff, so, but they say in jiu-jitsu, they say that a black belt is a white belt that never gave up. So for all our students, our BJIS students and stuff, think it that way, that it's a never ending thing. It's a never ending lesson, because even for me and for all the junkies and everything we do, we're still learning. We're still learning and stuff like that. So,
yeah. I mean, you'd have to be a fool to look at something like music and be like, oh yeah, I've mastered it. Like, it's so big. Music is so big, and it's such a broad landscape that you're never gonna master the whole thing. You know?
Oh no! I mean, shoot! I just learned something from that last round. Especially, I was like, Sublime. I mean, I'm like, and I'll be honest, I mean, I know Sublime, but I'm not really familiar with like, I know enough genres, but not like details like that. Even to a point where like even like bars, I was like, well, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And I do know it was. So I was gonna say Summertime, but I was just like, well, did they win a Grammy? Because I know they won the first Grammy. And it's like that was like in '86 and '87 and stuff like that. Right. So I was like,
there's a lot.
That kind of threw me off. But hey, you learned something.
Hey, and we've learned something from you. You've been so great. We really appreciate you taking the time.
No, I'm honored. Thank you. Something like this is incredible. Like I still like to hear stories and stuff. Like I said, I would like when I hang out with Skills, I bug him like, "Yo, man, where did you do this? When is that?" And he'll tell me his, like stuff that I've always wanted to know. Like I'm always like whenever I have a chance to become friends with some of my heroes or people I admire, I'll ask them stories, man. Like I'll like like I'm that guy and shit like that. Like I'll do that because I want to know. I'm that nerd.
We got nothing against nerds around these here parts. Big thank you and much appreciation to Rhettmatic, such a great human being, such a talented DJ and producer, and love to him and all of the Beat Junkies. Again, we definitely got to make more stuff happen together soon on the outside. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, I know it's a little rough around the edges as far as audio quality, but I think it's really important that we share a lot of these experiences, and whether this was your first time hearing it or you remember and you were watching the stream when it went down in the first place, I think that there was some good information to share and to experience with this one. We got more things coming up. We're going to continue doing our Making Illmatic series with Midas the Beast. Some new episodes of The Questions also coming soon. And of course, we will continue to dive into the archives and unearth old episodes of yesteryear. The Questions is hosted, produced, and written by Sean Kantrowitz. Additional writing for this episode was by DJ Steve Wonder. The show's theme is by Midas the Beast and Czarism. Go to questionshiphop.com to keep up to date with all things Questions, sign up for the mailing list, follow us on social media, and check out our Patreon. The Questions Hip Hop is a proud member of the Stony Island Audio Network. Peace.